The spokesperson for the Houthi movement stated that they have used some missiles in the attack, while also launching unmanned aerial vehicles towards some U.S. warships moving in the Red Sea and the Arabian Sea. Additionally, the Houthis also targeted some locations in the city of Eilat, in the southernmost part of Israel. Israeli media on the same day cited sources from transportation and insurance companies, confirming several Houthi attacks targeting ships associated with the US, UK, and Israel. The US military also confirmed that a MQ-9 drone was shot down by Houthi forces near Yemen. Meanwhile, on social media platform X, Houthi forces emphasized the need for a comprehensive and urgent declaration on a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip and that there would be no threat to international or European maritime traffic as long as there are no hostile actions taking place. According to knowledgeable sources, Hamas wants the international community to ensure that the temporary ceasefire order will be enforced following negotiations, serving as a precursor to a permanent ceasefire later on. Previously, Hamas insisted on reaching a new permanent ceasefire agreement before releasing Israeli hostages. Aside from the aforementioned changes, other demands remain unchanged, such as Israel's complete phased withdrawal from Gaza and allowing Palestinian refugees to return home. Hamas's adjustment of demands is the result of new mediation efforts aimed at achieving an end to hostilities in Gaza, especially as Israel plans a major military campaign in the city of Rafah, where over 1 million Palestinians are seeking refuge. Meanwhile, intense clashes have erupted at a refugee camp in the West Bank city of Jenin between Israeli forces and Palestinian gunmen, resulting in at least 3 fatalities and 3 injuries. Israel stated that they have surrounded the home of a suspected terrorist and used armed drones to support this operation. The announcement specifies that the United Nations agency resumed its humanitarian aid operations in Gaza on February 18 after a 3-week suspension. However, the agency encountered difficulties in distributing relief supplies due to the breakdown of civil order in the territory, thus necessitating another temporary halt in operations in Gaza. On the same day, the World Health Organization, WHO, reported evacuating 32 patients from Nasser Hospital in southern Gaza, expressing concerns about the safety of medical staff and patients who remained. This action was taken following the Israeli military's siege and search of the hospital. Related to the situation in Gaza, the United Nations Security Council convened and voted on a draft resolution on the conflict in Gaza. The draft resolution submitted by Algeria received 13 in favor, 1 against, and 1 abstention. Despite calls from many countries and international organizations, the United States exercised its veto power as a permanent member of the Security Council, resulting in the draft resolution not being adopted. Specifically, the EU's latest decision will take effect from the date of its announcement until February 24 next year. Additional sanctions measures may be implemented, and existing measures may be extended. Previously, on September 30, 2023, Russian President Vladimir Putin and the heads of the region signed an agreement on the incorporation of these regions into the Russian Federation. Prior to that, the 4 regions had held referendums on joining the Russian Federation. The results of the referendums were announced by the regional authorities, with the majority of voters agreeing to the incorporation. According to the announcement, the Brazilian government has recalled Ambassador Federico Mayer from Tel Aviv back to the country for consultations following a series of recent tensions between the two sides. Prior to being summoned back, Ambassador Federico Mayer was summoned by Israel to protest President Lula da Silva's statements regarding Israel's military activities in the Gaza Strip and calling the leader an unwelcome figure. In response, the Brazilian Ministry of Foreign Affairs also summoned Ambassador Daniel Zonshine from Israel in Brasilia to clarify Tel Aviv's strong reactions. Brazilian Foreign Minister Mauro Vieira made it clear that such statements from Israel about the head of state of another country are unacceptable. Tensions between Israel and Brazil escalated after President Lula da Silva, during a visit to Ethiopia, accused Tel Aviv of genocide against the people in the Gaza Strip and compared this action to the previous mass slaughter of Jews by the Nazi regime. Speaking at a joint press conference in Islamabad, the president of the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, PMLN, former Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, announced that his party has reached an agreement with the Pakistan People's Party, PPP, on a power-sharing formula after securing the necessary seats in the National Assembly to form a coalition government. Specifically, both parties have agreed that Mr. Sharif will be the joint candidate for the position of Prime Minister, while the co-chairman of the PPP, Asif Ali Zardari, will be the joint candidate for the position of President. According to the announcement by the chairman of the PPP, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, details of the alliance between the two parties will be announced in the coming days. He expressed confidence that the political alliance between the two parties will have a positive impact on the political landscape and bring stability to the country. Earlier, in the general elections on February 8, no party in Pakistan won a clear majority in the National Assembly, which consists of 266 seats. Accordingly, the task force will be responsible for producing a comprehensive report, as well as considering appropriate measures to safeguard national security against current and emerging threats posed by AI. The task force will conduct consultations with congressional committees, followed by the preparation of a report containing bipartisan policy recommendations and proposals. The task force will consist of 24 members. The report from the task force will outline detailed regulatory standards and actions necessary for the U.S. Congress to both protect consumers and promote continuous investment and innovation in AI, ensuring that AI harnesses benefits rather than causing harm to society.